Howdy y'all, Spencer from the Radivis here. Today I wanted to walk you through converting my Crust Scapebot from a 29 geared touring setup to a full build that Goat himself would be proud of. Goat was the original designer of this frame for Crust. It was when it was originally called the Scapegoat, not the Scapebot, which is the third iteration we have here. So we're gonna swap it from the 29-inch wheels to this sweet custom 26-inch fat wheel set that Velocity was lovely enough to make for me. This thing's pretty insane. So you got standard boost space hubs, 100 mil head fat bike rims, and then Surly 26 by 3.8 inch tires. Due to that, since this is just a boost spaced bike, we have to run it single speed. So we're gonna swap the chain over. And then of course, no Goat bike would be complete without his famous flip-flop barefoot pedals. So here's one of the first things I figured out when doing this whole weird build, is that since the fork tapers down to 110 spacing instead of like 150 for a fat bike, you actually can't even get the rim around the caliper. And I mentioned this in my review, but this is a really cool moment for this bike to be IS tab mount instead of post mount. So what's really easy, you just take your 5 mil and you remove the whole adapter as opposed to undoing the whole brake. And then when you put it all back together, it's all pretty much aligned right with what you expected before. Swing that out of the way. Slide our wheel in there that now fits this massive tire. Now, it's not gonna be perfect, but it'll be a lot closer than if we just had to redo an entire post-mount brake.
Now, I'll be honest with you, this works, but you can see it's pretty tight in there.
All right, nerds, time to talk about Chainline. So this bike has two different wheel sets that need vastly different chain lines to work. So the 29-inch wheel set with a 1x11 setup. Since this is a boost bike, we're gonna want something around 50 to 52 mil for the chain line. For the fat wheel set, we're gonna want as wide as we can get. All right, so this is all a little bit awkward with the frame bag on here, but we'll slide this in here, line that up with the seat tube. So currently, we have right there about a 50 mil chain line, maybe 51 if we're being generous. So that's gonna work for our standard drivetrain. So the whole crux of this setup is a 127 millimeter spindled square taper bottom bracket, which is extra wide. Typically you're not gonna see wider than 123 or 124 for standard bikes. I was able to find someone deep in the bowels of the internet. What that allows me to do is use this old 3x crankset, and the largest chainring here, it's a 104 BCD. I'm able to use the chainring in either position, so inboard or outboard. The inboard position, as I showed you, gives me about a 50 mil chain line. The outer spot allows me to get about a 60 mil chain line, which is gonna be crucial for the fat wheel set. Pretty cool. It took me months of fiddling and tinkering to figure this all out, and I'm pretty stoked. Shout out Wolftooth for making the only 32th 104 BCD chainring and being so nice to send me one. Pop that, there we go. Make our life easier. I'm just gonna unbolt this whole thing. Shout out external routing. Still making your life easier all the time. I mean, I don't think you'd expect anything less on a bike with a straight 1/8" head tube, but you know, this is what I love about external routing. You just take your whole damn thing off like a wiring harness, you just plop it to the side. Just put that in Tupperware. Done, easy. All right, so now we're gonna take our rear wheel, which I've got spaced out just about as far as you can possibly get. Even that's pretty tight. And I'll show you how tight the actual frame clearance is here in a second. It works, but I don't know if I recommend it. Chainring's off. Just gotta kinda noodle it around. Then we're gonna place the chainring over like that. You know, these old square tail bottom brackets are really smooth. I've been surprised. I've been really happy to go back to them. All right, y'all, back here with the chain line measurement. So with it in the outer position, new to our little tool under there, we're hitting right about 60. So a 10 mil chain line difference, which is pretty sweet. So as you can see, that chain line of 60 mil, it's really gonna give us a lot more clearance. So imagine that being 10 mil closer. It was pretty much always touching. Just wanted to show y'all just how close this gets. So it does fit on a boost base bike, which is pretty incredible to get a full 3.8 inch tire, but it is tight right in there. So it works. We got the full fat wheel set on there. We're single speed now. Obviously we can't fit any gears with that chain line. The last piece of the puzzle, I have made some flip-flop pedals. I found these same ones when I was looking for the 3x crankset at Bikeus, and I took an old pair of Bedrocks that I had because I wanted to do something a little different. I'm not much of a flip-flop guy, but I love Bedrock sandals. So the last piece of our kit is making these ridiculous pedals. I'll show you later. They don't work very well, but I had to just do the Scapebot fully as Goat would have wanted me to. So these pedals, pretty ridiculous. Sit really low, they spin like crazy. They're very hard to get into, but we're gonna take it for a spin. All right, let's give these pedals a try. See, they're pretty hard to get into. Let's go. So that's how I turned my Crust Scapebot from a 29-inch 1x11 touring bike into a single speed fat bike, all with the same bottom bracket, crank set. I love this bike, I'm keeping it. This is gonna be my touring rig, and I'll use the fat bike wheel set for when I do bike rafting trips, things like that, or if I need a fat bike for some short overnight or specific trip. So I'm hyped to not have to have two frames. I can have one frame, two wheel sets, swap everything over in about 30 minutes, and then I can have a full fat bike if I need to ride in the snow or the sand or whatever else. I just want to go monster truck around. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll be doing more videos and reviews and silly ideas from this shed in my backyard. See you soon.